Dear brothers, good morning, lads. All right. So, something that we're going to dive into today that matters profoundly. And this is something that I've had to address in my own life. This is something that I'm seeing more and more as it was brought to my attention. And it's something that I think all of us as men need to start figuring out sooner rather than later, because I think that the truth of it is going to change how we approach life. And I think it's a vital aspect to being better men. So here's what we got. Think to yourself everything that you ingest. I don't mean food-wise. Media, social media specifically, videos, posts, tweets, blogs, etc. And then I want you to think to yourself all the things that you send to your friends, what you save in your Instagram profiles, or the things that you go back to see again. And if you were to take all of those things that you send or save, and you were to review all of them top to bottom, put them into two categories. One being positive, educational, good information, etc. It improved life in some capacity. You learned something, maybe it made you laugh, but it was good things. And in the other category, I want you to have anything that is negative, anything that's talking bad about somebody, anything that's making fun of somebody, anything that has malignant intent, anything that is rude, anything that is angry, anything that creates or that is anxious, anything that has fear behind it, that makes you fearful, that is fearful. Those are your two buckets that you're going to shove all those into. And I personally did this. And my negativity bucket was overflowing. Meanwhile, my positivity bucket had plenty more room to be full, or to be filled, if you will. And this kind of sets up a harsh reality that I had to face and that I'm observing more and more. And that is, we love negativity. We love the fearful stuff. Oh, if we don't do this by this time, the world ends. If you don't vote this way, the world ends. Take it to a fitness side of things. This person is an idiot because they use this technique. Here's why. It's all this clickbaity type stuff. The news is chock full of it. There's no such thing as the news having optimistic information. Here is what matters, though. A lot of us turn and blame the person producing that content for the fact that it is negative. Oh, well, the news is only a bunch of negative stuff. And so that's just what they do. You guys forget something. Content must be absorbed, watched, utilized in some capacity. If it isn't, it no longer produces content. It's no longer there. There's no money to be made from it. So the reason that the news cycle and Instagram and all the social media websites and articles and Twitter and what have you are able to survive so well on negative things is because we watch them. We are contributing to the likes and the shares and the saves and all of that. We, the people that are consuming all of this. If we just stopped sharing and liking all the negative stuff, it would disappear within a matter of months because it's not making any money. The news doesn't care what it's selling. It cares that you're watching it. Sure, there's something to say that they may have a certain narrative that they're trying to display so that you will do X, Y, or Z. I mean, that's why we have multiple news stations that lean one way or lean another way, and they're obviously going to cater to an audience. But if the audience stopped watching, they would change their tactics because they're not making any money. And at the end of the day, most people get moved by the dollar. So the reason that this matters, specifically for us, specifically for men, is that we are choosing to allow those anxiety-riddled posts, those posts making fun of a different political figure. Yes, I get that they're funny. I laugh at them. I understand it. But there's nothing truly positive coming out of it. If anything, it just makes you anxious. It's like, I don't know if this is going to work out. And if you're just watching that over and over and over and over, and that's all that's flooding your mind is things that make you fearful, anxious, nervous, never mind the fact that they're pulling time away from your day, they're time consuming. You shouldn't be shocked if you're not functioning at a high level as a human being. I know that I have listened to various leaders, various writers, various podcast hosts on their ingestion of media. And a lot of them are around zero or they're low. They're not consuming it. They're producing, but they're not consuming. And a big reason for that is that you just cannot be effective if you're constantly consuming, and everything that you're consuming is for the most part in that negative ball field. And it shouldn't be then surprising to you that you feel those anxious or nervous or sometimes even downtrodden thoughts, anxiety-riddled thoughts, because that's all that we consume. Oh, if this election doesn't go my way, it's going to be the end of the world because I watched all these posts that talk about it. And understand that you should be informed, but there are ways to be informed that don't require you to be scrolling all day or reading certain things all day long. And that's taking you away from the important work that you should be doing in the world, from contributing. We've talked about that at length. But it's also producing an anxious man. And anxious men are doing no good for our world and our culture at all. They're not being productive. They're more nervous they are. They can't lead effectively. And that's a problem. But some of that is because we seek it. We like it. We love the clickbait. We love the stuff that's just bullshit on the internet. Because it's fun. It sells. Negativity and making fun of people and, having a hot take is cool in the world today. It's what we want. Oh, these people are fighting. Ooh, I can't wait to watch them bicker this out. Or, oh, he got owned. He got slammed. Look at that. I no longer find that to be a productive way for you to be in society. It is not contributing to anything. When you're watching all of this stuff, it's doing nothing. I very much am a proponent of, if you feel ignorant on a topic, go to YouTube, look up somebody who's an expert on it. Go to, some different article, go read research, go read people that review research. Whatever you have to do, you can learn about anything. But it doesn't require you taking the fear-mongering side of it or the anxiety-riddled side of it via social media or other articles. It doesn't need that. If you want to become more knowledgeable, let's say, for instance, we have this election coming up. You would like to know a little bit more about foreign policy. You'd like to know a little bit more about how immigration works in the United States. You'd like to know a little bit more about how our tax system works, how that looks, how your state tax system works. You don't have to go through social media and all of these algorithms sending you stuff to get to that. Sure, there are people on there that are providing good information. They're just not followed because what they're talking about isn't exciting. Some of the smartest people I know, brilliant people, have written research that has changed lives, have no followers because they're not selling anything that's sexy. It's not exciting. It's not, oh my gosh, look at what he just said about that other professor. We have made it cool to compare others in a way that is trying to pick a winner and a loser. Like, oh, they owned that argument, or oh, they're better than that guy, or oh, I can't believe they said that. What are we wasting our time doing? Shouldn't we be doing anything else? Working, being productive, becoming more intelligent, spending more time with our children? Meanwhile, every time that we take in all of this shit, it then leaks into our lives with our spouse, with our kids, with our friends. You're naturally going to be a more anxious person. We've seen the data is clear about this with young people. The more that they consume, the more anxious they are. Period. End of story. The amount of young people that are on psychiatric meds, that are going to see counselors and therapists and feel like they have some kind of mental illness, has skyrocketed. And the biggest change is that, A, we've become far softer in parenting, generically speaking. We've allowed kids to never hear the word no. And we can consume a bunch of garbage all day long. And I know that we like to point at young people and say that, oh, they need to stop this. Well, no, who needs to stop it is all the men listening to this right now. And that starts with your own life. Get rid of the things that you watch, that you consume, that create fear, anxiety, compare, and in some way are putting other people down. I understand you're going to have fun things that you send your buddies, that you laugh about. Trust me, I get it. I do it. My buddies do it. I'm not saying that you need to become a monk. But what I am saying is that a very large portion of your time should not be devoted to such things. You're wasting time. You're just producing more clickbait. You're supporting the people that are making stuff that's fear-riddled, that just keeps coming back to you and coming back to others just like you. It's doing nothing. If you want to stop all of this nonsense when it comes to the anxiety that's flooding society, A, stop contributing to it, stop liking it, stop sharing it, stop being a part of it. That's part one. And it starts with just a few people, and then it expands. When you're done with that, make sure that you yourself are focusing on the good things, the contributing factors in your own life. Being a good man, being a good husband, being a good father, getting to work, reading more effectively, maybe getting into your Bible a little bit more. And then that needs to be fostered in the next generation. They need to understand that their lives will change the minute that they discontinue enjoying all the anxiety stuff to them. Describe it to them. Tell the young people in your life. Be like, hey, how do you feel when you watch that? What's it make you feel? Angry? Scared? Anxious? Do you get like so excited you don't know what to like do? Like you're all fired up? Is that good? Do you feel better when that's the case? Or do you keep having to go back to get more of it and more of it? You get that dopamine hit and then I got to have it again. I got to have it again. I got to have it again. Is that good for you? Is that helpful? Do you feel better when you do that? Be honest with those questions with people you speak with. Be honest with yourself about those questions. Do you feel better after you've done that? The answer tends to be no. You tend to be nervous. You tend to become more irrational. You're letting your emotions take over completely. It's ineffective. It does nothing. It's not helping anybody. So understand this morning, gentlemen, we are responsible for what we ingest. If we constantly take in negative, fearful aspects, we're going to feel anxious and afraid. Now, if we are only taking in good positivity, we're learning, we're becoming better men, we're doing things that will produce that heroic man, what place does anxiety have? I mean, you guys know my opinion on anxiety from the outset here. All anxiousness, all fearfulness belongs at the foot of the cross. That's just what I believe. That's what I feel. I'm telling you that if you do that, your life significantly improves. But if you're constantly flooding yourself with it, you're seeking it. And if you seek it, that means that you almost want to identify with it. I identify with this anxious, fearful stuff. Part of that's because you're consuming it constantly. Get rid of it. You don't need it. Life gets better the minute you stop doing all of those things. So instead of scrolling, instead of looking up all these articles or being like, oh, you should see this guy get owned today. Congratulations. I'm glad that guy got owned. Did that help anybody? Did it change anybody's minds? No? Okay, well, it's got nothing to do with me. Whereas if you can become educated on a topic be able to discuss it with a clear mind without becoming emotionally possessed by it, that makes you a better man. So it's a very long-winded conversation today, boys. I think I'm already past 15 minutes here. Whew, long one. Understand, if you continue to take in negative stuff, they're going to keep producing it. And even if they keep producing it, guess what? Go find other things to put in front of your face and learn from. Read more, listen to more books, listen to more good podcasts about educational information. Some of the best information in the world, people know nothing about because it's not fun it doesn't get clicks. Guess what? That's probably a good litmus test is, hey, this person doesn't really have a lot of clicks. Followers doesn't make somebody smart or let you know about their knowledge. I can't tell you the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of great coaches on the internet who nobody knows anything about. Brilliant people, very well knowledge. But guess what they do? They only focus on their craft and the people around them. That's it. They don't worry about all the other noise. They worry about what they've got to do. I'm going to leave it at that. Focus on the positive things in your life, gentlemen. Focus on the good stuff. Find knowledge. If you feel like you're starting to take in all of this negative stuff, it's going to impact you, whether you can believe it or not. Look in the mirror today and be like, hey, am I taking in a little too much negative junk into my life? If that's the answer, cut it. Get rid of it. Be gone with it. That's it, boys. I love you all. God bless. Be strong. Let's get after it today. Big rest of the week. Big Wednesday. Get your workout in today. Don't eat like a jerk. Be a good man. Be a good husband. Kiss your wife. Tell your children you love them. Go fight a bear. Go do something. I love you all. God bless. We'll see you, boys.